Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Richard Ayoade. In the news this week, as the result in Pennsylvania teeters on a knife edge, everyone is wondering where the votes from Franklin County are. 5 hours into a train journey, 2 passengers with pre-booked seats are still pretending not to have noticed each other. And in Pyongyang, it's a bad first day at work for Kim Jong-un's new chef. On Ian's team tonight is a writer, director and producer who created the hit American comedy Veep about a female vice president. Interestingly, America has never had a female president, although now Joe Biden's one. Give it a couple of weeks. Please welcome Armando Iannucci.
So you're predicting at this point that Joe Biden's won?
That's the word on the street.
If you've got your ear to the street, then you must be right.
Where else should my ears be?
Well, I wonder,
on
should you be saying we're not going to have a female VP because President Trump has won, just to cover yourself?
I'm not going to cover myself.
No, all right,
I'm going to say what's going to happen in 4 years' time and stand by that as well. And with Paul tonight is a comedian and writer who stars in her own sitcom, Game Face, where she plays an out-of-work actor. Or, as they're now called during lockdown, an actor. Please welcome Roisin Conaty. We begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Paul and Roisin,
right.
Have a look at these.
Oh, no, what's his name?
Flag salesman.
Yeah, and he's the other one. Yeah, there's a dog with a ginger wig. But now I know where I am, and that's just sexist, isn't it?
I think they're the Bleach Boys.
I see that the one in the middle's really gone for it because he's not wearing any socks.
No.
Unless, of course, he's wearing a sock that we can't see.
The secret socks that scoop underneath.
Well, you've got your ear to the street.
This is the news that the old white guy won. Yep, that does cover us. Either way. Yep, OK.
Biden's probably got it. Ian didn't like that yourself.
That's what the street says.
I can't bear the hope, Rashid.
I know, I can't. I think none of us can bear the hope.
That is a good autobiography title, by the way. If you haven't written it already, please.
Yeah, there was fantastic footage of a group of Trump supporters saying, we've got to stop the count in one state, and then immediately they flicked to them saying, we've got to count this up, because they thought it was their vote.
I think over the last 4 years, a lot of people in America are saying we've got to stop the count.
But I think the thing is, none of us have got that nice feeling that even if Biden wins, Trump's going. It feels like if you're getting out of a really bad relationship, everyone's like, you're going to be free. And you're like, I'm not, though, am I? He's not going anywhere. He's going to be around. He's going to show up at your work. You know, we're not going to have that feeling of like, we're free, because we're not.
I think Biden's plan is to distract Trump with Pennsylvania so that Trump actually insists on counting all the votes himself, which will take 4 years.
I mean, he is leaving his 4 years as gracefully as he entered, which is pushing it.
Media outlets were initially reluctant to call the result, instead going with Biden on the brink. I actually have a caravan there.
On the night, Trump declared that he'd won, way before any of the votes were in.
He kept saying things like, they're finding votes everywhere, but he made it out like they weren't finding them, they weren't meant to be, like they were down the back of the sofa, or Biden was like, oh, hello, another vote.
Let's take a look.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
The Trump campaign has filed lawsuits in Pennsylvania, Michigan and Georgia in order to contest the result, despite not having officially lost there yet. Other than lawyers, who else is Trump's team trying to get to intervene in the election?
God?
Yes.
Yes.
No. Thank you. Yes,
Oh,
God.
the lady was doing the...
Oh, have you got,
you're
you've
right.
got the footage of her? Please, make our evening.
Trump's spiritual advisor.
Oh.
Incredible.
That's not a full-time job, is it?
Paula White held a special prayer service on Wednesday. Let's look at it.
Strike and 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 strike until you have victory.
She's praying for the return of her drumstick.
Anything you put on the screen right now, we would just be like, yeah, that's probably true. Anything that Trump or any of his team or people do, none of us would be like, I can't believe it. I'd believe it 100%. The worst possible.
Right, anything.
Yeah.
Trump has a singing turtle. I mean,
I'm in.
Who's his legal advisor?
Yeah.
yes.
If I showed something humane, would that surprise you?
Yes, it would, actually,
Yeah.
the way you conducted yourself so far. You know?
Blame the streets, Paul.
Trump doing humane's the creepiest Trump of all when he does earnest. And he's charismatic. And that's really frightening to see charisma at work like that.
I know.
What's you get troubled by this a lot, don't you?
You just learn to live with it.
Yes.
Apart from Trump, who else was it bad night for?
I mean, half the country, more or less, still did vote for him. I mean, whichever way it goes, the Senate's still half-half, the House of Representatives is only just in favour of the Democrats. So I think they assumed that if you put up any candidate at all against Trump, they would win. And they have tried this before. And again, it failed.
You're suggesting that they should select someone who people want to vote for.
I am.
It was also a bad night, though, for the pollsters.
No.
Yes.
Yes, who predicted a Biden whitewash. One theory as to how the polls got it so wrong is that pollsters armed with clipboards intimidated shy Trump voters. Either that or Trump voters armed with automatic rifles intimidated shy pollsters.
We had that, didn't we, with remember the pollsters when the Conservatives got in and there was the shy Tories came
Yes.
out. And people will just lie rather than be judged.
Yeah, I thought it was Shire Tories, so I signed up.
Are horses allowed to vote in the general election?
I think
In
they
certain
probably are.
states.
Yes.
There's states in America, yes. And they get 1 vote per hoof is the arcane in certain counties.
Can different who's vote against one another? Do they all
You
have
can
to
get a
vote?
split horse,
Yes.
yes.
You really should go into politics. Well, here's the big assumption, that Latinos wouldn't vote for Trump.
Yeah.
They assumed that, but they did. We think it could be because of this.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
He's actually riding one of those electoral horses at the end. Who put on the best election show? Do you want to see what CNN did?
Yes.
All right, we got a key race alert right now. Too early to call in these states, including in Ohio. Too early to call in Ohio. 18 electoral votes in Ohio. Too early to call. Too early to call in North Carolina as well. 15 electoral votes in North Carolina. Too early to call. West Virginia, 5 electoral votes. Too early to call in West Virginia.
It was too early for them to broadcast that show. That's what it was too early for.
When I stayed up, it was too early to call for hours and hours, and then I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was too close to call. I thought I missed all the good bit.
You've missed the call.
Whilst the BBC and CNN had very different approaches to the night,
Right now, we have a major projection. CNN projects that Joe Biden is the winner in Wisconsin. He will win 10 electoral votes in this key battleground state.
The polling data processing process has been tied up there because of a water main pipe bursting in one area.
We have another projection right now.
The president may get this congressional district here. He won't get them all here. Let me fix that for you. Here and here.
And we'll put in Hawaii for the Republicans. Actually, I'm going to put that the other way around. I was trying to remember, and our producers just reminded me. Sorry. Been up all night.
I get the feeling the BBC didn't want to wake us up.
Sky News had their own memorable moments. Let's not forget them.
As actually the energy's really started to lift in the last half an hour or so. People have been whooping and cheering every time something gets called for Biden or projected for Biden here, but they've actually started to sort of whoop and cheer even as the networks run through scenarios, if you like. You know, the energy's up.
Why?
It's got an atmosphere I recognise from somewhere.
Please, they can't top this vibe.
No.
Who kept their faith in Trump? Think of some of your favourite UK politicians.
Oh,
Farage.
There we go. What did Nigel Farage say American voters would get if they backed Trump?
Him.
He told ITV News that they'd get Donald Trump with the straitjacket removed.
He's been in a straitjacket so far. I don't think we should take it off.
Which other politician had a surprising cameo on election night?
Cummings, I imagine.
He's not out and about. Get arrested. Was it Theresa May?
Was it?
Yes, in a sense. Let's see the clip to explain.
At a time when we're facing an unprecedented challenge from both China and Russia.
Before I ask you a next question, let me just put up a tweet that Margaret Thatcher has just put out because Theresa May,
There's no such thing as society. Don't at me. Yes.
Gosh, that's a spooky thought, isn't it? She's tweeting from beyond the grave.
Yeah. So they have social media in heaven or hell or wherever you choose to assume that Margaret Thatcher is.
Could be purgatory.
Could be purgatory. No, that was when she was here.
OK. OK. What did Trump cancel before the election?
Oh, there's a big party he was going to have.
Oh, yes.
At the White House.
Yes.
A celebratory party.
Trump cancelled his victory party, instead opting to stay at the White House while barricades were put up around it. Later he got to build some more of his wall before he goes.
It's like surreal art, doesn't it?
It looks like a series of cupboard doors.
Yeah.
They're just planning to just brick them in. Just like Chernobyl, they're just going to put a big concrete dome over the whole place. Just seal it off.
I think he'd gnaw his way out. I think he's...
Like a rat.
Like a rat.
Yes.
I think he's... Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got some sort of robot in him.
He'd chew through.
He had COVID 2 weeks ago. He's about 100 years old. He's been campaigning, and yet he's very alive.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that he's a rat.
This is the delayed result of the US election. With the final outcome still in the balance, Trump made a controversial speech unleashing dark and destructive forces, or as they're also known, lawyers. Joe Biden knows that if he's to succeed as president, he's going to need a powerful stimulus package, which is what he calls his defibrillator. Many believe that as president, Joe Biden can help bring Americans together as they attend his funeral in January. He is super old. Political scientists agree that the only constitutionally guaranteed way to get Donald Trump out of the White House is to hand him a spacesuit and say, "Congratulations, you've just been elected King of the Galaxy." Joe Biden is crystal clear on what his priorities would be as president. Get America out of Vietnam. Make peace with the Confederacy and beat the Soviet Union to the moon. Have got to be. Ian and Armando, take a look at this.
So I screw things up in here. This is where I go.
Oh, he's bricking it. Oh, yes, they're changing the slogan, eat out to help the virus
He's
out.
spreading. Look at it, it's spreading with his hands.
Boris hitting the target. Oh, no, he's missed.
Whoever I get with this arrow gets a PPE contract. Is the answer we're now in lockdown again?
Yes, lockdown 2.
Yes. Boris Johnson was showing all sorts of worrying figures showing Keir Starmer ahead, and he thought, we've got to do this.
Yep.
It would be morally wrong not
right.
to.
And he'd given a clue that he was going to change his mind because he'd said there is no way we're going to have a national lockdown.
Yep.
So most of us just stocked up, went and bought more food.
Lockdown 2 is on the agenda. That really is the thing which everyone seems to be using as an excuse to sing this. Lockdown 2. Electric Avenue. This is Lockdown 2. This is terrible news for the hospitality sector.
And everyone.
Yes.
We will go stay inside.
Yeah.
And only non-essential shops are to close, which I noticed include bookshops. Nothing like a government with its priorities right.
Yes, that is an indulgence reading.
It is.
People get ideas.
But Wetherspoons, as ever, are leading the way. They're the innovators in this. What do they start to do over the last few days before lockdown?
They're giving the booze away because they don't want to waste it.
99p a pint, Ian, at Wetherspoons. See you there.
Where do you think I've been the last 2 days?
Exactly. When you say, I haven't slept, watching the news. I've seen you on that sticky carpet rolling around. Drinkers can still order a takeaway pint. According to the Times, takeaway drinks can still be ordered by only phone, text, email or post.
Post. Like 3 gin and tonics on Saturday.
It's going to be a long lockdown, isn't it, if we're using the post?
We're allowed, it's not as severe as the first one. We're allowed out on the streets and stuff.
Yeah.
Your favourite place.
Yes.
Get your rear out there.
That's where I get my freaking news, mate. Deprive me of the street. It's like TJ Hooker. I can't be behind a desk. I need to be out in the field.
The first lockdown must have been so hard for you.
TJ Hooker.
That's right. That's the refs I'm bringing, Paul. I've been locked down since 1987. Of my own volition. I've just come out and go to the refs and bring it. Romano's had a terrible time.
Magnum PI.
That's right. Wait till my next 5 jokes about Heather Lockyer. TJ Hooker. Correct. You remember? No. Unbelievable.
But
Heather
you're watching
Lockyer.
now.
Yes.
Lockyer.
Lockyer?
Very
Lockyer.
beautiful. Heather Lockyer.
Yeah.
Heather Lockyer.
Dynasty.
Lockyer, she does the tyres. In the new lockdown, what will happen to protests?
They're banned. Protest more than 6.
2, no more than 2.
2, yes.
To agree about something and say they don't like it, or
Yes.
it's wrong.
Yeah.
And in Britain at the moment, 2 people who agree on any subject is pretty good.
Yeah.
We demand a threesome.
Well, if that happens, the police can be called, regardless of which version.
All you need is one policeman.
Yeah. Who is this bad news for? Not the threesome.
Oh.
Is it Nigel Farage?
It is, because he started a party to oppose lockdown.
Well, I think he felt that the unpleasantness had gone out of the Brexit debate, and he needed to inject some sort of new toxic unpleasantness. So he thought, let's argue about lockdown.
According to the Mail on Sunday, the pandemic has led to the emergence of a massive political hole. Or you can just call him Nige. Who's cross with Boris Johnson?
Who isn't cross with Boris Johnson?
That is true.
Tory backbenchers?
Correct, yes. His own MPs have been rebelling against this new lockdown this week and questioning the science. What do you think about science? Is it here to stay?
On the whole, the data's fine. I think what they're arguing is the modelling bit.
Right, yes.
Which, again, is a problem for Boris, because he's pro-model on the whole. But in this case, it's a bit of a worry. Those 2 professors, Professor Doom and Professor Gloom, who are quite a downer, really, when they come on. This time they said that there might be thousands of people dying a day.
How should they present? Should they sing the information?
Yes, and I would say fewer graphs.
I think that's because they've spent 50 billion on a graphs contract.
What have backbenchers called for the PM to do?
Resign?
Yes, they want him to go. They just want him to go.
They don't give the leaders very long now, do they?
No.
And he's been in, what, 9 months?
It's been a long 9 months.
It feels like forever.
One told The Guardian, he's on borrowed time, totally inept, this could be his Suez. He has been overrun by his advisers. They are nasty, they misunderstand the parliamentary party, and above all, they are totally shit.
That was a party political broadcast on behalf of it, sir.
I like the Suez reference. It gives you a clue as to how old these backbenchers are.
Yes.
Yeah, if only they could be as up-to-date as me. Get into some TJ Hooker biz. Why would Theresa May have been particularly cross with Boris Johnson this week?
Closing the cornfields?
She abstained, didn't she? Yes.
She made a speech.
Yes. And what happened during the speech?
Did he walk out?
Yes, he did.
Oh, in retaliation for her bad-mouthing the previous week.
He just needed to leave at precisely the moment that she started to speak. It was a coincidence, Armando.
It's very, very...
It was a complete coincidence.
No.
Should we have a look at it?
Yes.
Can I say to members, we're going to start with a 4-minute limit, and I start with Theresa May.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I first of all say to my right honourable friend that I don't envy him and the government the decisions that they're having to take and the difficult...
The look back is marvellous. I wonder if she saw. Who is Boris Johnson himself angry with?
The leaker.
Yes. The details of his planned announcement on the new lockdown, which forced him to deliver it on Saturday, 2 days earlier than planned.
It's like a really easy game of Cluedo. The meeting is called the Quad. There's only 4 people there. It was one of them.
Yes. The PM, the Chancellor, Michael Gove, and Matt Hancock.
And then it's just Professor Gove in the library.
Could not be Gove.
It could not be.
He is a man of great integrity. Someone in the cabinet told the Mail that the leaker was a chatty rat Matt Hancock immediately issued a denial. How did Hancock give the game away in the Commons?
Did that to Matt.
He did do that quite a lot. Ian Duncan Smith went on a bit of a rant about the leak. Let's take a look.
I want to say I thought the leak is appalling, that whoever did it should be sacked, strung up to dry, come here to apologise, grovelled out the door on hands and knees, and beaten on the way out, frankly. Because, to be honest with you, this is appalling, what they have done.
It's no way him. No way.
It's too clever, isn't it?
Yes.
To do that.
What did Matt Hancock wear in Parliament on Wednesday? We all know this.
Whiskers.
Yes.
What do you call a cheese trap? What do you call a cheese trap? Mouse trap.
Mouse trap. A cheese trap.
What? Something that traps cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mouse going, ooh, come here.
Sorry, what was the question?
What did Matt Hancock wear in Parliament on Wednesday?
Was it a big dunce's hat? With
It
a D
was.
Something trainers to look relaxed and a dressing gown.
You're in the right.
Am I right?
You're in the right area.
That's
Smoking
what a
jacket.
criminal would do.
Cigarette holder.
Yeah. Just I'm so chill.
The footwear.
Purple, and I saw a little round table and a Labrador slowly roasting on an open fire.
Yeah, those things.
Really?
No.
No.
This is what
I was about to be appalled. The idea he was wearing trainers.
He was wearing trainers.
You were in the right area of the body.
A soft shoe.
No, a hard shoe.
Well, that's not relaxing.
Well, he's Matt Hancock.
Well is.
He doesn't need to. No, gold.
Gold shoes?
Yes.
Gold shoes?
Have a look.
What?
They're not his shoes.
No,
That's the mace.
Yeah.
I can hear the disappointment in your voice.
Who drew a line in the sand and said no further? Boris Johnson's press conference cannot be pushed back any further.
Strictly.
Yes. BBC said there was no way, no frickin' way Strictly Come Dancing was going to be moved in the schedules. No.
They're national emergencies and national emergencies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
You do
strictly
not.
4 minutes late.
Mate.
Yeah.
You want to talk about riots?
But those poor news broadcasters, they just had to keep filling time for like 4 hours, and it's painful for them. And you know, he's probably just on his way down now, and
Yeah, they discussed the podium and...
What problems besieged the PM during his national address?
His microphone didn't work, or he couldn't read the auto cue.
Well, it was more to do with the PowerPoint. They'd obviously knocked up the PowerPoint pretty quickly, which meant that the graphs looked like this.
Yes.
And to top it off, the sign language interpreter summed it all up thus. Testing is a crucial element of the government strategy. Who were Randox, Ian?
Randox, they're a laboratory firm, pharmaceutical laboratories, who were privatised.
Yes.
And there's a government minister on the board.
Tory MP Owen Paterson, who's being paid only £100,000 a year to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of many firms that are run much better by having members of the cabinet or their friends in charge.
Are they experienced at testing? Are they Randox? Are they...
No.
No. What are they normally?
They usually make bath salts, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an overall £12 billion that have been spent on testing and tracing.
And sometimes to companies that have only been started up like about 8 months ago.
Yes, and have 2 or 3 people.
And are called things like Honest Ron's Mask Funhouse. And things like that.
That's one of the more experienced.
That's right. That's actually got quite good scientific data. Yeah.
Why can't they ask for the money back? Because it didn't work.
I don't think in the contract is any kind of, if this doesn't work, we get our money back.
What you would normally have, you would put some sort of protection in for the British public, the taxpaying public, to say...
This is beginning to sound like a riot, Roisin. you spend the money for the hope. But it's not all bad news. According to the Mail, fresh optimism for a jab before Christmas. Although whether there'll be enough morphine to kill us all... What Nigella Lawson had to apologise for. There's no need for a segue. We'll just go there.
Yeah.
What she had to apologise for?
Cooking?
It is to do with cooking. She licked her fingers on television. That's what she did. Well, she was making a marzipan cake on Saturday Kitchen.
If her fingers were 2 metres away from her face...
Yes.
A really long tongue.
Yeah.
A very long tongue.
Very long. Lizard length.
Yeah.
Anteater.
Yeah.
It retracts very fast.
There's
That's
another
what people don't know
conspiracy.
about Nigella. It goes out and back before there's any spread.
Yeah.
That's why no one wants to be a cameraman on those shows. it's tongue in the eye all day.
Some people have volunteered to do it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. She's very good at often contact lenses come back now. So Nigella had to apologise for licking her own fingers. It's hideously wrong. I'm sorry. I don't know whether she's talking about licking her fingers or being on Saturday Kitchen. It's unclear.
Oh, she was on Saturday Kitchen.
She was on Saturday Kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's fine, but, you know, I get
Yes.
she's on a...
Oh, she didn't have to apologise for licking her fingers in her own house on her own.
That's what I thought it
That
was.
would be very strange. By the way, I'm going to turn myself in. This is the second lockdown, which began on November the 5th. A dangerous date for the government to start such an unpopular policy. This week, the government has been criticised for awarding a £350 million test and trace contract to Randox. The company was founded in 1982 by Dr. Peter Fitzgerald, a research scientist who discovered a pioneering way to get government contracts without going through a bidding process. Also, this week, Prince William revealed that he contracted coronavirus back in April, having been informed by Test and Trace last Saturday. So at the end of that round, it's 2 points each.
Track and trace as well. Everyone does. It's test and trace.
Test and trace.
Track and
Why
trace
am I
is the
saying track and
post
trace?
office. You literally are saying it.
Why am I saying track and trace?
No, we all say it.
Well, it's on the auto cue, that's why.
OK, yeah. I've no idea. Everything, even this is on the auto cue, Armando. Can you believe it? This ill-thought-out guff that I'm now saying is written down there.
This is bigger than The Matrix, isn't it?
Who writes this?
I did.
Why would someone write that I now turn my head to you without any idea what to say?
And
I
now
just
Paul
say it?
says...
They've misspelt guff. Look, G-O-U-G-H.
There's only 4 F's in guffs, I know
Exactly.
that. OK, and so to round 2, the star-spangled hammer of news. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here's the first one.
Well, this has got nothing to do with America. These aren't American policemen, is my answer.
Yeah. I'm prepared to admit this star-spangled hammer is not directly connected to American news. Anyone else want to critique the question?
No, I think he's demolished it. I'd just chuck it.
All right, well, this week, police in Guernsey have revealed a huge increase in job applications thanks to their new creative recruitment policy. What did they do to drum up more interest? There is a clue with that camera.
They clearly made a campaign video.
Yes. They made an action film-style recruitment video, which has led to 10 new recruits. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Guernsey?
That's what it's like,
It's
Paul.
like that all the time.
I've been to Guernsey and none of that happened.
Imagine if you're like a Guernsey estate agent. You're like, what are they doing?
This shiz is real in Guernsey. One person told the BBC that the video made islanders appear to be violent, raging lunatics, while others disagreed and said it portrayed them unfairly.
Where is Guernsey, then?
It's where you stop when you haven't got enough petrol to get to France.
Well, it's a war zone, that's where it is.
Yeah. T.J. Hooker would be right at home there, wouldn't he?
please.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's his bread and butter, that is.
That's a feature length, TJ. They're not going to cram that into 45 minutes.
No.
They're going to allow that episode to breathe. Who do you think would have enjoyed the Guernsey police video? And I'll give you a clue. Who passed away recently?
Not Sean Connery.
As a fan of the action genre, of course Sean would have enjoyed that.
Would he?
Of course.
What's his connection with Guernsey?
At the moment, this card. That's the connection, Ian.
Yeah. I don't want to get all forensic on you, but...
Please don't put too much pressure on these segues, Ian. They do not hold up to scrutiny. Some of this is literally, it's one thing, then it's another thing, and then it's another thing, and then it stops.
Yeah.
If you're gonna lean on it, it's gonna break. Okay?
OK, I back off.
Sean Connery was a versatile actor. As well as playing James Bond, he was also capable of nuance and great sensitivity.
Zardos.
Exactly.
Still got nothing to do with Guernsey.
No, nothing.
This is the rather over-the-top recruitment video made by the Guernsey police force. According to the Times, the biggest crime on Guernsey recently was that some flares were set alight in a bin. Of course, they're still wearing flares on Guernsey. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here's the next one.
This is Cliff Richard. Is he presenting a nude version of Sooty and Sweep?
No.
No?
Is he...
Thank you for whoever that was that laughed there. I heard a laugh come from out of the emptiness as somebody realised that somebody doing that could be a nude Sooty and Sweep. Very much enjoyed that. I can have put that on my show reel.
Next to the Guernsey police video.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweep would definitely be bad cop.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
So she'd soften them up and then...
Sue would be the boss. She would summon them both in.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Say you've got 24
Say you've got 24 hours.
Yeah.
Bugsy Sue.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the...
She'd be always a slightly angry, irritated one.
Yeah.
With a complicated personal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, Sue.
My job's on the line here, guys. There are tomatoes all over the floor.
What's that you said? You fabricated the evidence?
This is the news that Cliff Richard has stopped swearing.
What?
Do you not hear this news?
I love Cliff Richard swearing.
Yeah. He's cleaned up his act, Armando. None of that filth anymore.
What's the point of Cliff Richard if he's not going to start swearing?
Exactly.
That's all we know him for.
Exactly. Yeah. If he's not going to drop the C-bomb, I'm not going.
Congratulations.
What does Cliff do now instead of swearing all the time?
Does he use substitute words?
Close.
A bell.
Has he got a swear
bell.
box?
It makes noises, indiscriminate noises.
He does the opposite. What he does is instead of saying them out loud, sometimes I think swear words. For example, I wish the BBC would commission this Sooty and Sweep show.
No, he's hosting next week.
He's doing the last 2 rounds of Tonight Show. He's turned it down. He's waiting outside with a gas mask. Swearing his head off. Silently, though.
Literally swearing his
You
head
just hear the breathing, and you don't know what he's thinking. Another devastating...
So the story is that there's
Again,
something that he's
please
not
don't
going
put
to
too
do.
much pressure, Armando. Don't put... It won't take it, Armando. It will not take the pressure you're giving it.
Something hasn't happened. That's the story.
Armando, please.
And we don't know why, and Richard has no idea.
Don't lean on this.
I don't think he likes the word story. That's too strong.
Don't lean on this.
His cards are blank, Armando. He's making it up.
Some stuff happened involving some person you may have heard of.
This whole show's going down.
And I'm just telling you about it. And if you don't think that's a TV show, if you want news and things that have happened and satire, you're in the wrong place, Armando. You're just speculating about what may or may not be going on in Cliff Richard's silent head.
And may I say, Richard, that on the BBC, speculating about what's going on in Cliff Richard's head is not a good move.
People have got in trouble for that. There's more Cliff Richard news.
We can't take any more Cliff Richard news.
We've not
We're
milked
going to
this
have the
cow.
Director General down here in a minute. Just get on.
Please. Just let me get through this Cliff Richard section.
It's too much.
There's not enough.
He's got to bring out a swearing
We're not
album.
talking enough about Cliff
Okay.
at this moment.
Yeah.
What else didn't he do this week?
It is a question about what he didn't do.
Yeah.
Amanda. What did he reveal he will no longer be doing in his calendars? That's right, we're asking questions about what Cliff will not be doing. It's a very wide topic. Can you think of stuff Cliff wouldn't do?
I can't think of anything that he wouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Did he this week invade Iraq, for example?
No. I think if the rest of us don't attempt to answer the question, this bit will be over quicker.
Cliff's about to reveal his 40-second calendar, but he will no longer be posing topless.
Oh, yes.
He told the Mirror, I suspect I've done my final topless photo.
Oh.
Yes. I suspect I've bought my last Cliff Richard calendar. This is the news. Cliff Richard doesn't swear anymore. So Cliff recently turned 80. Congratulations. It's one of the terrible records that got him famous. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication the American magazine, the magazine for American expats in Britain, ideal for anyone who hasn't heard quite enough about America recently. And we start with, people can now what from home using robot lobsters?
Vote.
Catch crabs. Get a degree.
Win a massive contract for PPE.
Yeah. All of these are on Cliff Richard's new album. It's View Art Exhibition.
Of course.
Yes, this is...
You mean, oh, yeah.
This is the story that the Saatchi Gallery in London is hosting an exhibition called Lobsteropolis that can be viewed from home using remote-control lobsters. Of course, the great thing about this exhibition is that you don't even have to leave your home in order to not bother going to it. Next, woman arrested in Florida after telling police her name was what?
Dido Harding.
Up yours, copper.
No.
A word which Cliff Richard only thinks of...
Officer.
Yes, it is. It is. I'll give you that, in a way, because the answer is my butt just farted. The incident took place this week after the woman was questioned after being found trespassing and refused to give any other name. Next, what unexpectedly found in a cathedral in Spain this week?
Beelzebub. Mephistopheles. Eamon Holmes, the Dark Prince.
Is there a comma there, or is it just...
No, Eamon Holmes, the Dark Prince.
The Dark Prince.
Yeah.
12 horses. Final answer.
Cheeky portrait of a stonemason is the answer.
Yes.
This week, historians at a cathedral in Galicia discovered that a stonemason who helped build the church has secretly carved an etching of himself into the wall, which has only been discovered 900 years later. Here he is. Yeah. When it comes to uncovering historical secrets in the church, this is definitely one of the nicer ones. Next, disaster in Holland averted by what?
Pigeons. Pudding, because it calms everyone down.
OK.
Is it massive whale's tail?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. A statue of a whale's tail.
Oh, yes, that was
That's
a great
right.
story. Yes.
This week, a tube driver in Rotterdam survived unscathed after the statue stopped his train from falling off the tracks. Here it is.
What are the chances?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, BBC News' Simon McCoy had a terrible pun for the story. Any ideas what it was?
Oh, it's got to be Wellway or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. You are exactly right. Let's have a look.
The front carriage was left hanging 30 feet above the water, propped up only by the giant silver-coloured sculpture called improbably, but absolutely really, Saved by the Whale's Tail. Latest picture there from Dutch Railways. Let's have a look at the weather. Here's Helen Willis.
Isn't it something that image is probably the most hopeful thing we've had this year? A train crash, effectively, that everyone's about, but you go, a bit of hope.
According to the Times, there are calls for the accident scene to be preserved as a permanent art installation. Though the driver says he's quite keen to go back home to his family. Next, police catch man what to try and get around lockdown rule.
Is it impersonating Dominic Cummings?
Good work.
Is it going into a pub backwards and saying that, no, I'm leaving? Or...
The answer, actually, is walking stuffed dog. The incident took place in the Czech Republic this week. Here is the man with his dog. How is he caught? Next, woman loses licence after being caught what?
Running the Home Office.
A woman loses licence after being caught impersonating the Bee Gees in a built-up area.
Eating a plate of dinner while driving.
What?
That feels harsh.
Yes. Well, wait till you hear. This week, police in Surrey pulled over a woman who was driving with her dinner on a plate on her lap while holding a knife and fork. After being caught eating a meal off her lap whilst driving, a woman was taken to a magistrate's court in Staines. No surprise there.
I see both teams have both got 2 points still.
Yeah. It's been a good night.
It's going well.
Yes.
I think we should just, at the end of the show, just say, there's no result. You'll have to watch next week. We're still counting.
At the moment, it just says, it's just broadcasting me swear words from Cliff Richard's brain directly. He's just thinking them and they just come up on this display. And finally, what honoured with commemorative plaque in Weston-super-Mare?
Is it Christ?
Is it Kanye Weston?
Bob Hope is the answer.
Of course.
This is an article from the American magazine about the legendary US entertainer who's been given a blue plaque in Britain. The Bob Hope blue plaque brings a number of reasons to visit Weston-super-Mare to slightly less than one.
I mean, what was his connection with Weston-super-Mare? He wasn't born there.
I bet your cards have got nothing.
The cards are still going on about Cliff Richard. Ignoring the cards right now. The cards are just saying, stay on Cliff Richard, it will get better. So the final scores are Paul and Roisin 2, Ian and Armando 3.
Well done.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Armando Iannucci, Paul Merton and Roisin Conaty. And I leave you with news that there's an impressive turnout for the first meeting of Nigel Farage's new anti-lockdown party. On a police training course in Hendon, new recruits are taught how to spot a cold-blooded psychopath. And in troubled times, Donald Trump seeks a comforting embrace from the person he loves the most. Good night.
Right, you can bring them in now, we're ready.